we go.
Hello?
Hi, is this the church?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great.
This Pastor.
Oh, great. I'm so glad I reached you. I was wondering, I am a believer, and I was wondering which Bible translation do you preach out of at that church?
Well, we only use the King James Version.
Oh, awesome. That's my favorite. I was just curious, do you know that verse by heart, Romans 3:23, by any chance?
For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Talking about that one?
No, the one, for all have sinned, that one?
All have sinned?
Do you know the rest of it by memory?
For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, but let's see. No, I don't remember the rest of it.
Oh.
You got me.
Do you remember it ever being, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God?
Of course. What is your name?
Michaela?
Jacile. We know someone else by that name. Nice name.
Oh, thanks. But do you remember it being fallen then at one point? Because that's how I memorized it about 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever remember it being fallen?
Do I ever remember it being fallen?
For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God?
Well, of course. I mean, you know, every Christian does still commit sin at certain times.
No, I mean, do you remember the actual verse being fallen in the King James Bible? Like I remember it being fallen instead of come short, like 8 years ago when I memorized it. And my dad also...
Oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying. Hold on just a minute here.
Well, it's not... I mean, it says come short now, but I remember 8 years ago when I memorized it, it was fallen, because I would always preach that to people, for all have sinned and fallen short. And then my dad also memorized fallen too, because I asked him to quote it, and he said it was fallen, but now we don't see that in our King James Bible.
Well, hold on. I'm going to check this out right now, because we got a good question. We're talking about a different, we're talking about Romans 3:23.
For all have sinned.
Yeah.
So you don't remember it ever being fallen and not come short?
Well, you know, it could be in another version.
But do you remember it being fallen in any version? Like, do you ever remember hearing, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory? Like, do you ever remember hearing that version of it ever preached?
No, it's for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But you could cross-reference and see if maybe it was in New King James or it was in, you know, like New American Standard or something that way.
Well, it doesn't exist in any Bible anymore as fallen, but I memorized it out of a King James Bible. How about this one? Do you remember the verse about a certain animal will lay down with a lamb?
Yeah, let's see. I think that's the...
Do you remember
lion?
The lion? Oh, okay, so you remember the lion? Would you?
Okay.
But before you look at it,
she's got this. She's got her box. She has a much better memory of all the verses she's memorized. So I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk to her. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Her name is Nancy. This is Michaela. She's asking me some questions about the Bible. Verses have been changed.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Nancy.
What is it? Hi.
Hi. So you read out of the King James Bible?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's my favorite. That's the one I memorized. Do you remember Romans 3:23 by memory? Could you quote it? For all have sinned and
come short of the glory of God.
Do you ever remember it being fallen short?
No.
Okay. How about do you remember that verse about a certain animal will lay down with a lamb? Do you remember what animal?
In Isaiah.
Do you remember what animal it was, just off memory?
Lion.
And So, okay, so lion, and do you remember reading that for yourself with your own eyes at any point? Like you,
Yes.
so you do remember reading Isaiah 11:6 with your own eyes, and it said, "Lion shall lay down with the lamb."
Isaiah 11:6. I wasn't sure where it was.
Oh,
I believe so. Hold on just a minute. No, that's the wolf. That's a different verse.
so where is the lion shall lay down with the
The
lamb?
wolf, it says the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
So
Yeah, but there is one about the lion too.
that the lion shall lay down with the lamb.
Well, I believe so.
Do you know I can't find it's nowhere in any Bible anymore. Did you know that?
Well, maybe I got it wrong, but hold on just a minute. Just a minute.
Okay, take your time.
I remember the child shall play. The child shall lead them. Something about the little child shall lead them.
So you remember the lion shall lay down with the lamb was right next to the little child shall lead them, around the same area?
It seems like it.
Yeah, because it used to be in Isaiah 11:6. There's another one, I think it was Isaiah 65:25 or something around there, and it also says wolf now. And I can't find that verse about the lion shall lay down with the lamb anywhere in any Bible. And when I type into the internet, it says it doesn't exist anymore. But I remember...
Hold on just a minute. It's 65, Isaiah 65 what?
It was, I think it was Isaiah 65:25, but let me look real fast.
I'm looking too.
11:6 says that the wolf also dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion, and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
Okay.
The lion's in there.
But do you remember, you said you remember it being the lion shall lay down with the lamb, right?
Well, I was guessing.
That's just what the world tells us in different things. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock.
So,
And dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, saith the Lord. That's 65:25.
There was also a New Schofield Bible that had some words changed in it too. It's a King James. It was the New Schofield Bible, King James, but they changed some words like that.
are you talking about like when they translated it, they changed words, or do you mean, because,
When
for
they
instance...
made the New Schofield Bible.
But I don't know if that's what they said in the New Schofield, because I haven't had a New Schofield for many years. I have had one before.
Do you remember the wolf will dwell with, what it says now is the wolf will dwell with the lamb. Do you remember that ever being there, like from memory, or is this the first time you kind of remember reading it?
Well, I've read it before, but I never memorized that verse. So I just, I didn't, I never made that, a memorized verse.
But
I didn't memorize it or anything.
All these paintings and sculptures of lions laying with lamb, but there's hardly any. So
exactly, and that's what we see in the world. The world shows that picture because they think it's so amazing, But it's just as amazing for a wolf to be with a lamb. I don't know why they don't put that in picture.
maybe because they changed it, because you think they would have made a picture of that, Do you know the word stuff is in the King James Bible? Did you know that? The word stuff, like, you know, when Jesus says, whenever he returns, don't go down to your house to get your possessions or belongings. Now it says, don't go down to get your stuff. Does that word stuff, doesn't it seem like it shouldn't be in the King James Bible? Or
let me look just a minute. I don't know if that was a verse, but you know, that it was that particular one. But I think I've seen the word stuff.
It was in Luke 17:31.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen the word stuff. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah. In Genesis 31:37, thou hast searched all my stuff. That's my husband's Bible. Yeah, there's stuff is definitely a word in the Bible, if that's what you're asking.
So do you think the word stuff sounds like King James language? Because to me it should be possessions or belongings in all the other versions, but in King James it says stuff. Doesn't that sound like a weird modern term? Not
since it's there. I mean, to me, it's not since it's there, it doesn't.
Okay, here's another question. Do you remember that preacher on TV, Joel?
Yes.
Do you remember his last name?
Osteen.
And do you remember how to spell it?
No.
But so
I
don't. So you said, wait, can you repeat it again? It was
Osteen.
So it had an L in it, like the letter L?
Yes.
That's how I remember it too, because I bought one of his books like 10 years ago, and it was Olstein with an L. Did you know that right now his name isn't Olstein, it's Osteen with no L?
Osteen? Okay.
With no L.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Because all these people remember it being Olstein.
I don't listen to him. I've never
Me either.
really listened to him. I've just seen his picture and seen his books, and I think I have seen on the book Joel Osteen. I think I have seen that, but I've always thought it was Olstein. Just the way I hear people say it.
Well, yeah, because I used to have his book and it was Olstein, and now it's Osteen. So things are being changed, and that's why I was asking questions about the Bible, because there's people remembering the lion shall lay down with the lamb, and it doesn't exist in any Bible, and they're saying that they're supernaturally changing the words in our paper in the actual Bibles. I mean, I personally have seen scriptures changed, like Romans 3:23. When I memorized it, it was for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and my dad memorized it the same way from the King James, and now it's gone, and there's all these change. Yeah, it's pretty supernatural, and it's called the Mandela effect if you want to look it up.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I don't believe it's supernatural. I don't believe anything like that. I believe that certainly God has the power to do anything. That's not the issue. The issue is if I've read it wrong or understood it wrong. You know, if you don't still have that Joel Osteen book that you said you bought and it said Osteen, then I would tend to think that it always said Osteen, but we just heard it said, pronounced Osteen all of our lives, so we don't think about it. You know, I don't think about things like that.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Sure. I don't know if I was any help to you, but...
Yes, you were.
Okay.
All right, have a great day.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.